Hey everybody, welcome back to the Crypto Insider. My name is Paul Sampson here at Verified Investing, and today I got a brief update here for you on Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP. The entire market's kind of getting a little bit of a pullback as Bitcoin's getting a little bit of a hit as well. So let's just jump right on into the charts and take a look at what we got. So Bitcoin here, right, over the overall, macro scope here has came up and made a new all-time high back in the month of March. So it is April here, and we've been pretty much slowly trending downward here, right? So it's interesting to see, and pretty much looking at this as an overall range. It is, of note to basically take a peek here, right? The fixed range volume profile tool, and I'll go ahead and map off the overall range that we have basically in place here. And as you can see on a daily time frame, we've pretty much taken a nice move up, right? We've had our range rotation, we've came down, we've met our quarterly average of price back here, we've closed above here, and then we've ran it back in to our point of control, which is the highest area of volume for this range of price action, right? Got a little bit of a rejection, and we find ourselves basically at the range low at the moment, right? So losing this area, would lead me to believe that we're probably going to come down and sweep these lows, right? You can also note that we have the March low just below everything right here, pretty much at about 58,900. So barring a move where we basically come down and sweep that low and get back into the range, right? That's something, if we start losing the region we're in, should be definitely something you want to be paying attention for. Otherwise, where we are now is a simple range rotation, right? We've rotated to the low, we came back up to the point of control. We are now at the range low, and potentially we should be seeing a move back up towards the 2021 high here, right? And this is the actual overall gold pocket retracement, right? So from the 74,000 high to the current swing low, we've got a gold pocket Fibonacci retracement, comes up right into that 2021 high. So definitely a technical level to be looking towards. And if we start to claim that region, then we may come up and actually start closing up some of these areas above, maybe even make a new all-time high, right? So it's just at the end of the day, we're just really range bound at this point. Nothing has changed there, right? Losing these areas, there's a ton of things below us. Okay. And although I bring up the current range that we are in, right, as far as a structural range would go, if we look on a bit of a more time scale here and look back to the Q1 range, all right, so this is actually the quarterly range for the first 3 months of this year. And while we did come into this region, we kind of poked out, we came back in, we kind of poked out, we've come back into this area. We've come into our average of price here. And as you can see here, we've came in and now we've rejected. So we basically back tested. We've come into the range. We've back tested the overall high. And for me, it does come down to this level right here, right? The 61,300. You start closing daily candles below. So far you can see we've not done that, right? So barring a quick wick down below these lows here and then come back up, we started closing dailies below this region. For me, I would look for the price action to seek out the point of control, right? Which is all the way down here, about $43,000. Okay. At the moment, it's not something, that I'm married to, but by all means, it's something I'm highly aware of, right? So at any moment, if we just crush down into those areas, it would make sense. Now, $50,000 is definitely going to offer up a significant amount of support, at least for short term, right? When we look at things like the February range, right? We've got our February naked point of control comes in right here at this like 51,800, which is pretty much this little cluster down below, as well as the overall 0.382 Fibonacci retracement, right? So when we're looking for a really strong uptrend to potentially get continuation, we get a pullback, right? I know I've highlighted here the gold pocket, but generally when you get a nice, shallower pullback for continuation, it's at the 382, which does come in basically right at that same level as the February naked point of control, which is at 51,800, 51,600, pretty much right in this little cluster, right? So overall, this is a big area of support if we start to lose here. At the moment, can't necessarily bank on that. and it just is what it is, right? We're simply range bound, right? So just like when we were ranging at the highs, now we're ranging at the lows. I know that many are probably looking at this as a potential downtrend start, right? As we've got your high, a low, lower high. Now we got a lower low. Maybe this is our lower high. And then we could potentially start making our lower low here. And it's definitely something to be aware of. And once again, to point out that range that we're in, where 43,000, 52,000, like they're very technical targets down below us. However, it's not worth overlooking at the moment, at least, that we are basically at this structural range low, right? So we have to keep that in mind. Yes, currently we're, just dipping our toes down below it at the moment, and very well could, see a wick down and sweep the March low here, right? Basically, that's our March low. These are going to come in as our April lows. So maybe in May, right? You see a move down, kind of sweep those lows here, and then we get a really nice little return up into the range highs. Like that's something that just really has to be prepared for, right? So aside from that, Bitcoin's fairly simple. Unfortunately, it's just simply range bound at these areas. I imagine this is probably a local gold pocket we just came into. Sure is. Right, so from those lows to the high, we just basically came down and tagged the high of the gold pocket down here. So if we are going to get continuation, right, we want to start living and closing above that 63,300, give or take. So really not too much more to update on Bitcoin, right? So it really does come down to a simple potential range rotation back to the highs. We start to lose these lows and start closing below, then realistically we have to look towards 52,000 and maybe even 43. Now, Ethereum, not too much has changed here as well, right? We've got our $4,000 high. We've retraced actually on Ethereum down to the macro from the overall low to the overall high, 382 Fibonacci retracement area, all right? And then taking a look at a little bit more zoomed in price action here. Now, we've got our lows obviously coming in down below us in the $2,800 area, the 792 region of the local price action here. What we did here was that we put in our high for the week about 3,300. We've came down to meet our weekly average here, and last night on Friday night we actually just came down and swept the overall weekly low for this week so far. All right, got a little bit of a retracement at the moment. Maybe we get a push up into these regions here, but I'll be looking for, to see how the week basically closes here for Ethereum and Bitcoin and the market as a whole to kind of gauge on how, the remainder of this will go, right? So overall, I still anticipate a potential move, right, back towards, maybe even like this $3,600 area. If we don't get it, however, the macro idea here is still really paying attention to this, 382. If we lose that, it's the gold pocket. It's the yearly average of price here. It's this swing high, right? This is the main target for me, right? This is where I unloaded the majority of my Ethereum position at 3,280, targeting a move back down to this area here, right? So we'll see if we get it. Otherwise, short term, looking for that bounce. Still maybe looking to put in a potential lower high. And then overall looking for a rollover here, right? So that is still in play. Now XRP has been just range bound in this region really tightly. 50 cents has been an area that personally I've been acquiring a pretty decent sized position in, looking to flip it. The likelihood of that is almost getting concerning, but we'll see how it goes, right? But we've once again made it down to the range lows, even when it's low about 42 cents, and we're basically back in this range, potentially back testing this again here. So overall, looking to see if we get a range rotation back to the upside here on XRP once more, back to like 65 cents, and the official break of this range, which has been about this is a little over a year at this point for this region here, but would look to move up to this like dollar area. All right, everyone, I decided to keep it relatively brief for you on this Saturday. There's not really too much going on. Obviously, all eyes are on Bitcoin to see if we're going to get that pullback any lower than where we are now, or see any kind of movement to the upside. The altcoins as a whole are taking a bit of a pullback in this sense as well. So it's just really all eyes on Bitcoin, right? So we're coming into the end of April. We're walking into May. It's kind of getting into that summer time frame here. I know the going idea is that sell in May, walk away type of deal. However, there are times where you get a good week or two out of the beginning of May, before any kind of like major corrections happen, if those are going to occur. So it's just something to be on the lookout for. I'll be updating as we go. But aside from that, that is all I have for you on this lovely Saturday. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great remainder of your weekend, and let's crush it next week. Till next time, everybody. Cheers.